Ancestry just launched what they call the 1950 Census District Finder. And what it does is helps us identify what's called the Enumeration District. Knowing the Enumeration District number is really helpful to narrow down a group of pages in the 1950 census, so you don't have to scroll through an entire city or an entire county. Ancestry's 1950 Census District Finder has a lot of options, so let's head over to the computer and take a look. Here we are over on Ancestry. Your homepage might look a little bit different than mine, but what you want to look for is something called the 1950 Census District Finder, and look for a link or a button that says Explore Maps. Now you could just keep zooming into different areas of the United States, or you can do what I'm going to do right now and actually type in a location. I'm looking for 309 West 5th Street in Larned, Kansas. And I'm going to pause as soon as I start to see that drop-down appear. I actually want to choose one of the drop-downs because that's going to be in the format that Ancestry is expecting it. So I don't know why there are two of them, so I'm just going to click on one of these, and I have to click Search. And it zooms right into Larned, Kansas. Now what we're seeing here in the background is a digitized image of the actual Enumeration District map. The dark red lines are the boundaries of the different enumeration districts. The area that we see here in blue is what Ancestry thinks is the enumeration district for that 309 West 5th Street. You can click the little plus sign to zoom in, and you can click and hold and drag the map around as you might need to. But here we see this is 5th Street. And Ancestry believes that this area right here is going to be where 309 West 5th is. Now we always want to make sure that we're looking at what the enumeration district map itself says, and it does say 73-13, which is what Ancestry has over here. Now, at the time of this recording, the 1950 census images are not yet available, so if I click on this Selected Districts, it's not going to take me to the images. But I suspect that after those images become available beginning on April 1st, then we'll be able to click through that enumeration district and get right into those pages. You want to be careful when you're looking at an area where two jurisdictions are adjoining, say two towns that are right next to each other, or when you're near the city limits. Sometimes the way that Ancestry has their maps, it doesn't exactly line up with the enumeration districts. I'll show you what I mean by looking at an address in Bexley, Ohio. Bexley is a suburb of Columbus, and it's actually completely surrounded by the city of Columbus. And it kind of confuses Ancestry's maps a little bit. Let's go take a look. Let's look for 2733 Bellwood in Bexley, and again, I type just a little bit of the address so I can get that drop down. Choose the drop down and then click Search. Now again, the area in blue is where Ancestry thinks that that location is and what enumeration district it belongs to. And Ancestry thinks that it's District 25-167. But when we zoom in, again using the control over here on the right, when we zoom in, we can see that there's a little bit of Bellwood Avenue, but where are the rest of the streets? I know that there are streets and houses in Bexley that are much older than 1950. And actually, as we zoom back out, we can see that here in the city of Bexley, this map isn't showing any of them. When you have a situation like this, look at one of the controls over here on the right, the one that looks like a stack of papers. Click on that, and right now the map that we're looking at is actually for the city of Columbus. The one that we really want is the city of Bexley. So let's click on that map instead. Okay, we'll zoom back in a little bit. And here we do have Bellwood Avenue, and we're seeing all of the other streets around it. But remember, those dark red lines on the Enumeration District map, those are the boundaries of the enumeration districts. And we can see that this section of Bellwood Avenue is actually in this enumeration district, 25-2. So make sure that you're paying attention to that underlying map. And if it doesn't look quite right, make sure that you look over here to see if there's a different map that would have a better view. A situation that you want to be careful of is when the address that you're looking for is near the boundary of the enumeration district. And it's a good idea to combine your search on Ancestry with a search on Google Maps. And I'll show you what I mean. Now let's look for 411 South Logan in West Frankfort, Illinois. When we zoom in on this map, we can see that this location is very close to that enumeration district boundary. Something to remember is that different sides of the street can actually be in different enumeration districts. Well, I'm not sure which of these streets is Logan, but what I can do is click over here on the tool icon, and then I can actually slide the opacity of the enumeration district map, basically slide it all the way down to make it transparent. And I can see that Logan Street is this street here. Since this address is so close to the boundary, I want to double check that against Google Maps. Google Maps confirms that 411 South Logan in West Frankfort, Illinois is on the west side of Logan Street. So that does agree with this enumeration district of Illinois 2834. I should mention that Ancestry's 1950 Census District Finder is still in beta as of the time of this recording. So there are a few glitches along the way. So far we've looked at examples of exact addresses inside a city or a town. But what about our ancestors who lived out in the county who only had a rural route address, or who lived inside of a village? We can still look for those using the Ancestry 1950 Census District Finder. But we still need to be careful. According to Ancestry, Glenford in Perry County is in Enumeration District 6415, which is this great big area here in blue. But if I look more closely at the underlying enumeration district map, I'll zoom in a little bit, I can see that the village of Glenford is actually this area right here, which is its own enumeration district, which is actually 6414. I can read that there on the map. As I mentioned, at the time of this recording, this tool on Ancestry is still in beta, and there are some glitches. Let me show you what happens, at least right now, when you look up Upper Township in Lawrence County, Ohio. Keep in mind, Lawrence County is literally the most southern point of Ohio. Looking for Upper Township in Lawrence County, Ohio. I don't need to add the word township, but I'm going to type in Upper Lawrence, and it does give me Upper Lawrence, Ohio. I'll click on that, click on search. For some reason, Ancestry thinks that Ohio's southernmost county is actually way up north in Lake Erie, but there's a way that we can work around this glitch. If we zoom out on the map using the minus sign over on the right, zoom out a little ways. So instead of being way up here in Lake Erie, let's click and drag the map so we get down to the southern part of the state. We can click on any of these circles to zoom in more on that area. And I know that this is about the area that I'm interested in, so I'm going to click on this dot. And I know that Upper Township is over here around Ironton. So I'm going to click in a little bit more. I'm going to click on this dot here. I'm going to click and drag the map a little bit. And Upper Township is up in here somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on one of these areas just so I can start to see the Enumeration District map underneath. So if I click right here, that's going to reveal the Enumeration District map, and I can see here is Upper Township. I can read it right there. Zoom in a little bit. Now remember, the thick lines are showing the Enumeration District boundaries. Now I know that this whole area is actually Upper Township, but I can see that the township is divided into two different enumeration districts. This area here that is 4458, and this area over here that's 4457. This new tool by Ancestry is just the tip of the iceberg of what's going to become available to us as we're using the 1950 census. And I've put together this playlist up here with all of my tutorials and 1950 census how-tos all in one place. So go check out that playlist. This is also a good time to subscribe to my channel so you stay up to date with all of the genealogy videos that I publish. Happy researching!